Somebody had to say it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. This video by this guy is dog shit, and there's a reason for it. So you're probably thinking, hold up, why is there a channel with barely any viewers criticizing this guy? Stop the ego for like 1 minute, please. In the entertainment industry, there are various ways for storytelling. Either it be through music, comic, light novel, TV shows, or movies. What I'll be discussing today has something to do with the latter, mainly animation and live action. More specifically, anime vs live action shows or movies. So I am an avid anime watcher, veteran if you will. I grew up with shows like Doraemon, Shinchan, Hageman, Chibi Maruko-chan, Ninta Marantaro, Detective Conan, Ranma and a Half, Sailor Moon, and a few pretty curiosities, etc. However, I did stop watching anime because I thought it was cringe at around 2014, but I found new love for it starting for 2020. And currently, I have completed 166 anime shows and movies. So I think I'm pretty qualified to watch and prove how massively wrong and biased this guy is in this video. The video in question is how anime is better than real TV by a YouTuber named I Am Lucid. Let's see how far we can get through the video without face palming.
Somebody had to say it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Anime is way better than regular TV shows and movies, and there's a reason for it. So you're probably thinking, hold up, why is there a grown-ass man telling me to watch a cartoon? Drop the ego for like 1 minute, please.
I will give him props here, and it'll probably be the only time he'd get any sort of credit. Nowadays, people do disrespect animation. Average moviegoers sees anything animated as targeted for kids, except I guess Pixar and all the Disney movies. Animation is far harder to pull off than live action for obvious reasonings. The visuals needs to be animated by multiple talented people, either it's 2D or 3D.
An animation, a drawn-out cartoon, if you will, on a screen can sell you better emotion than a real-life human being, and there's a reason for it. Anime can express a feeling that regular humans can't express because otherwise it would be awkward. It would be awkward for a human to scream at the top of their lungs about something that they're so passionate about because no one does that. That's just weird. But if an animated character did it, it wouldn't be weird. And the reason for this is that an animated character can express emotions that we don't really express outside as a human being because it's awkward, it's weird, and we've been taught to not do these things since we were a little kid. And animation can express the imagination and emotion that we haven't ever gone to before.
What is he rambling about? In the very first point, he already makes tons of nonsensical points. You're telling me that cartoons can sell emotions better than actual humans that they are based off? Not only that, but it can also express emotions that we don't really express outside as a human being because it's awkward or whatever. What? I think he is confusing this with the advantage of exaggerating emotions in animation to better sell the emotion presented. That is why movements in animation are often exaggerated. That doesn't at all amount to live action with actual actors being worse at selling emotions.
If you've watched Attack on Titan and you've seen the main character scream at the top of his lungs about something that he is so passionate for and he wants to achieve with all of his heart, and you've seen this guy scream, imagine putting a human in that place. It would just be awkward. There would be no emotional drive, there would be no inspiration, it would just be funny. It would be a comedy show.
I'm completely lost with what he's trying to say here. If you're implying real actors can't pull off passionate screamings, then you're wrong.
Pass my shit on to him.
Don't say that. You have to come with us.
You raise him right. You fucking raise him right, and I'll make sure they never find you.
Don't you say that! Stop it! Stop! You have to come with us.
Do not compare me to my father.
Like Dad liked to say.
For a human to scream at the top of their lungs, no one does that. That's just weird.
Throw that piece of junk out of the sky!
I am not like my mother.
You are! And you're
And express emotions that we don't really express outside as a human being.
About all of these people.
Stole that from me. Killed that from me!
See the main character scream at the top of his lungs.
You can die screaming alongside him!
Imagine putting a human in that
You're a
place.
fucking villain.
It would just be awkward. There would be no emotional drive. There would be no inspiration.
No, you chose this life.
And it would just be funny. It would be a comedy show.
I fucking showed up for you! I showed up! I was standing there for you!
Strikes up. The chance of
Go
getting hit.
fire all the drones now!
Every day up, and I hope you're dead.
Still holding on! Let go!
Dead like it.
if I can guarantee it. Or I hope you get an illness. Or if they get hit by a car and die.
That's just weird. But if you put it into an animated character, it somehow has deeper meaning. This is a feeling that a lot of shows really can't express to you. A lot of human beings, a lot of paid actors can't really express to you. When they sell you emotion, it's something that you've never seen a human being express before. Otherwise, it would just be weird.
What is he talking about? Cartoons somehow can express an emotion that we humans have never seen before. Seriously, how does this video have 65k likes? His points makes no sense when you think about it for more than 1 second. I will come back to this point later on in the video.
I don't know how to fully explain it, but when you watch anime, listen, sometimes I cry.
But look, we're not gonna talk about that. I had this friend back in high school, and he had these weight problems that he's always been trying to lose weight for many years, but he just couldn't ever seem to get it off. He started to watch Naruto for the first time ever, and he came back after that summer break, 25 pounds lighter. He shocked everybody. Everybody was stunned.
And he goes, bro, I just started watching Naruto. And I thought he was joking at first, but he actually wasn't. There was something about the emotion and the mental drive that show gave him. He said that it inspired him so much to train harder and work harder than he's ever done before, that he came back to school that year, 20 pounds slimmer.
I really hate this kind of argument, because any shows can take Naruto's place as that show you watch as a kid to motivate you or change you moving forward. It doesn't even have to be an anime. Any shows or movies that tackle similar topics like friendship would do the trick. There's going to be people in the future looking at the MCU as the GOAT and rambles about how it changed their life as a kid. It's probably already happening now. It doesn't conclude that anime is much special than any other medium in existence. Also, I'm just gonna put it out. Naruto ain't that good. Kid Naruto is at best 6 out of 10 and Shippuden is 2 out of 10. If you want me to make a video bashing Naruto, then click the notification icon and subscribe for more videos in the future.
Character development is a big part of anime.
Bruh.
Same for any medium.
Since there are no human beings just playing the role or playing the part, now there's an animation, and that animation stays the same throughout the entire movie. And it doesn't ever repeat, so that animated character will never star in another movie.
さすがの名探偵もお手上げって顔だな。
おじ、ルパンさん。
まあおじさんでいいよ。
Like we see many of these famous Hollywood movie stars in so many different movies, it kind of breaks immersion.
I don't get why he starts his points talking about character development, then goes on rambling about how anime is better than live action because there's no overlapping actors. This is single-handedly the stupidest argument he made in the video.
If you've seen a certain actor in 5 different movies, how do you believe that they're really playing a part in this certain one? With common sense, you can infer that they're just doing this just to get paid, or they're just playing the role, or they're just doing their part. But with an animation, that's really who they are.
You do realize anime characters are voiced by voice actors, right? He later rambles on about how the characters are only in a certain series and you will be attached to them or whatever. Dude, Yuki Kaji and Hiroshi Kamiya, voice actors of Aaron and Levi, played many other characters outside AOT. Look at the sheer amount of characters they have voiced. And sometimes they even use the same voice.
おい行くぞ行くぞこれを仕組んだやつだろ。てめえ一人のための代替わりだなんてまるでダダをこねたガキの親殺しだな。壁外調査の機会はいくらでもある。これからは力を合わせて巨人に立ち向かおうじゃないか。
There's a couple of times when you can just tell it's the same voice actors. Takehito Koyasu, who played Dio, is super recognizable in any show he is in.
俺はいつ貴様がのたれ死にやしないかと気が気でなかったというのに、私がこの屋敷の当主ロズワール・エル・メイザースというわけだよ。夏木スバル君。さて君たちの魂を改ざんする前に楽しいパーティーと行こうか。君はまだ役に立つ。働ける。ここでな。ベネディクト。なんだよもうまたかよ。どこに行ったリヴァイ。俺ちゃんをアベンジャーズのリーダーにしてくれ。 どうしてアベンジャーズのリーダーになりたい？言わせんなよ。アベンジャーズはトップのチームだ。リーダーになればモテる。初めての相手はジョジョではない。このディオだ。
But does that ruin the immersion? Does that pull you out of the experience? Of course not. When I see Chris Evans in Knives Out and Snowpiercer, at the beginning, sure, it's Captain America. But later on, he got sucked into the performance, and he owns those roles. When I watched The Boys, Billy Boucher is probably one of my favorite characters in the show. But I didn't realize the actor Carl Urban, who played him, was also in Thor Ragnarok as Scourge. And later on, when I finally watched Lord of the Rings, and I saw and recognized him in the role of Eomer, I don't know how to pronounce that. And as I watched through the movie, I have already forgotten that they are the same people because they act completely different. When I watched Haikyuu, which Yuki Kaji and Hiroshi Kamiya both starred in them, I don't expect to see Kenma, when fighting against Kanosuno, to yell out Tatakai to his teammates every 5 seconds.
戦わなければ勝てない。戦え。戦え。
Now, when you think of animation or anime, you're probably thinking of the regular American cartoons like Family Guy or American Dad. It's nothing like that at all. These shows are usually made for comedic purposes and satire, but anime shows you the deeper meaning behind life, and it teaches you a lot of valuable lessons. It also drives your emotion, like I talked about earlier, which any of these American cartoons could never do.
Wrong. Anime is basically Japanese cartoons, so any animated show that came from Japan are anime. Not all animes have deeper meanings and teaches valuable life lessons. Those type of shows are everywhere. Also, Japanese animations are also divided to multiple genres.
Genre.
So it's live action movies and any medium or storytelling you can think of. There's isekai, slice of life, rom-com, shoujo, shonen, harem. Most of these shows lack deeper meaning. Even Naruto, Boku no Hero. These types of shows does have the themes of friendship, redemption, etc. But looking at the show as a whole, it's not that meaningful. It's like the MCU. It's a fun action show with a bunch of lessons here and there. And those storytelling elements have already been done time and time again. Star Wars have already done the redemption storyline back in 1983.
Anime is usually a lot shorter than regular TV shows. The reason for this is because animation costs a lot of money, and spending money to do anything besides building the character development or moving forward with the plot would just be a waste of money. And in real life shows, that may not be the case, since it's usually a 1 hour episode for each show. They can spend that hour however they want. But in animation, it's 20 to 30 minutes, so they got a crunch time and they have to deliver the best plot to you within that certain amount of time.
I thought this guy watched Naruto.
Anime is usually a lot shorter than regular TV shows. The reason for this is because animation costs a lot of money, and spending money to do anything besides building the character development or moving forward with the plot would just be a waste of money. In animation is 20 to 30 minutes, so they got a crunch time and they have to deliver the best plot to you within that certain amount of time.
This segues nicely to my main problem with Naruto. Each episode is filled with fillers and paddings, and I'm not even including the actual full-on fillers. I'm talking in each episode, how little the plot actually moves forward, how much it lingers and drags on character interactions. The pacing is so bad. So I will take a 1 hour expertly crafted and paced episode over a 20-minute episode filled with unnecessary flashbacks. Daredevil, the whole trilogy is the closest thing I'd call a masterpiece. There are 13 episodes per season and each episode is 40 to 50 minutes, but it doesn't drag the series at all. Each episode make me invest more in the story, and the scenes where it focuses on the character interactions are easily one of the highlights of the series. Scenes like Matt losing his hearing in season 3 is very well done, but if it's an anime, it's probably going to be edited over Matt narrating expositions. Now let's get back to his point on how animated character can express better than real humans could. Putting aside how it makes no sense at all, I disagree based on how many animes where the emotional heavy scenes doesn't hit as well as actual portrayal of real people. Animation requires work and time, and usually the scenes where a character is emoting usually only takes a couple of frames, which made it less effective in my opinion. Not many studios would invest more money to make the animation more fluid to better sell the emotion, except if it's a movie with a large budget. I have watched Kimi no Na wa 2 times and cried. They sell the emotions by not just having the character faces animated, but also the body movement and language. This is also done very well in a silent voice. Most of the times when characters are angry or sad, they don't move very much. They will repeat the same cycle of 3 to 5 frames to show the character crying or being angry. It's the voice actors who really carried these scenes, not the animation. Now look at movies like A Marriage Story. Through Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson portrayals, there is much more going on. The body language, the way they stutter, it all feels so real and natural. Look at Split, for example. James McAvoy played Kevin, a guy with multiple personalities. Those scenes when he changes personalities.
So good.
Can an anime do that? Sure, but with a big budget it is. Or let the voice actors do the work, and the animation can stay decent and not too expensive. Anime is better at making those more comedic scenes because it's animated. They can go weird, people flying here and there. There are more freedoms in animation.
One of my favorite parts of my favorite show, which is Death Note, is that time can be slowed down without breaking immersion. Time technically doesn't exist. So when you see L and Kira trying to outplay each other and outsmart each other in every move that they make while thinking in each other's brains, things don't get awkward. When Kira is trying to understand what L is thinking before he does, one of my favorite scenes is when Kira writes down the detective's wife's name, and when she asks why he keeps on checking his watch, all time pauses and time moves really slow. However, the snow keeps on falling at a regular rate.
Because I'm Kira.
If you try to recreate this scene inside of a real life movie set, it would be almost impossible. The watch starts to slow down, both characters don't say a word, and snow is falling at the same exact rate. You know what that's called in real life? Being awkward.
So this also falls in line with my previous point, that it's anime. They can go weird and make it all stylized. They don't need to be accurate to the real world. Those type of scenes won't work in live action, and it's fine. It's fine for another medium to have an advantage on another, but it doesn't make the medium worse in comparison.
Now, if you can just drop your ego for 25 minutes and watch the first episode of Death Note, you'll thank me later. After you finish the first episode of Death Note, come back to this video and leave a comment and tell me exactly what you thought of your first anime ever. Thanks for watching this video. Stay dreaming, stay lucid. I'm out. Peace.
Anyway, that's the end of the video. I think it's pretty clear that the argument that anime is better than real TV is complete bullshit, and you can tell he is very biased about it. So to I Am Lucid, if you can just drop your ego for at least 2 hours and watch any of the high acclaimed and rated shows and movies, you'll thank me later. Finish any of those movies, come back to this video, leave a comment and tell me exactly what you thought of your first live action movie ever. Thanks for watching this video, subscribe, I'm out, peace.